G'many GAA Galéir a Charge Gael, and welcome to Bohrin na Smuinche as you join us on the journey of the GAA in our parish of Tidavnet. Fellow club members Seamus McElwain, Sean Morgan, Cormac Sherry, Jeannie McCaig and I, Mackie Rooney, have spent many months at this project. We have chosen 6 interviewees to outline the broad picture. Much of their story has been informed by gatherings of club veterans held in our social centre, where we were regaled with history and anecdote. In DVD form we present their story, but it is also our story and your story too. Bwanigi Tatnevas. This photograph of Scotstown was taken in the 30s on Mrs. Catherine Moynihan's Kodak box camera. The corner building in the foreground, Macquarie's shop, was formerly the National Foresters' Hall. In the nearest thatched house lived Lizzie Duffy, who sold hosiery, underwear, wool and thread. The semi-detached 2-storey houses were built in 1931. We move on to wee Maggie Sherry's house. Wee Maggie served meals on a fair day. Peter Maguire, shoemaker and cobbler from Killycarnan, was soon to occupy the other part of this thatched building. It is now 1937. In the back row of this group of children from left are Kathleen Castley, 16-year-old Ailish Corrigan, future wife of Dublin-born Bobby Sterrett, and Dimpna Castley. In the front row from left are Tom Garrett, son of Sergeant Garrett. Tom's brother Mick would be a midfielder for Galway on their winning 1964 team. Then we have 8-year-old twins Mackie and Tommy Moynihan and Josephine, the youngest of the family. In this footage of Scotstown Fair in the late 40s or early 50s, it is a challenge to find a football context. Mickey McCabe from Drumdesco has more immediate things on his mind for his pipe. Leo Began, a young teenager, may be very aware of the camera, but it will be many years later that his nephew Big Ben will shine for Scotstown. Mick Caulfield from Derrynanamph has given good service to Knockatallon and Scotstown. In 10 years or so, Hughie McAree from Hollywood will have emigrated to Manchester. But Pat Kelly from Fermoyle may not be aware that his father-in-law and county councillor Peter McKenna from Anaha was a stalwart for Scotstown teams in the early years of the century. Old Peter's son, Peter, would wear the Scotstown jersey with distinction in the 50s, and a third generation, Peter, would in time serve as club PRO. Joe McGinnity of Kilmore is a happy man. He has sold his cattle for a fair price. His son Shamey is a member of the Scotstown team, and young Jean is showing promise at Knockatallon School. Eddie Hennessy of Park Street Monaghan and Peter McCardle from Tunnystacken are seasoned fairgoers who are not fazed by the cine camera. The group near wee Maggie Sherry's are relaxed. They are from left Johnny Sherry of Esh and I think a Carbon man also from Esh, his uncle. Then we have Jimmy McCaffrey from Sheskin, whose cousin Mickey from Drumshavre is cornerback on the county team. Next to Jimmy is neighbour Thomas Mullen. Barney Sherry from Esh with hat and scarf will soon move with his son Johnny to a new farm at Mahery near Smithborough. The nearest man to the camera I do not recognise. Time and progress inevitably brought change. The auctioneer's gavel in the recently established Monaghan Mart was the death knell of Scotstown Fair, and that monthly event which had served the people so well from the mid to late 1700s was, by 1965, a thing of the past. Before proceeding with our interviews, can we take a little time to savour 5 events whose significance resonated with the wider Monaghan GAA family? For the Scotstown Club, they are a source of great pride. Here we see Sean McCaig in 1999 on his triumphant return to Scotstown as President-elect of Cumann Class Gael. A multitude of locals and Monaghan folk were joined by many from other parts of Ulster to celebrate the significance of the occasion. Sean McCaig shares a very special moment with his mother Rose. Sean McCaig and President Mary McAleese, prior to the commencement of the Armagh Kerry All-Ireland final in 2002. Cógáirdeas a Dhéann. Castle Blaneyborn Pádraig Duffy is appointed Archsteward Cumann Class Gael. Knowing the pedigree, the ability and the track record of the man, his appointment was no great surprise. At a time of great change and inevitable challenges, it was imperative that the GAA would choose wisely. This they did in 2008. Pádraig Duffy, Archsteward, and the Taoiseach Brian Kahn before the commencement of the 2010 All-Ireland football final. Maihu Afáric. While Scotstown had made a habit of winning championships in the 70s and 80s, the significance of the 1993 county final, Clontibret versus Scotstown, was not lost on the huge crowd who attended the match in Ballybay. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Jerry McCarville's magnificent long-range point in the dying minutes of the game was a match winner, which secured his place in the record books with 12 Monaghan Senior Championship medals. Commentators Paddy McMahon and Pat Deary are keenly aware of its significance.
Jared McGurk back to Jerry McCarville, and Jerry kicks it high. It's curling in, it's over the bar. It's the point for Scotstown.
What a magnificent point there from Jerry McCarville.
At such a vital time of the match.
While later, a thronged Scotstown village square shares the joy of local curate Father Mackay's words to a man.
And finally, I would go back and applaud Jerry McCarville again, because the last score that he took was the sweetest I have ever seen. I think that score was a very appropriate way for him to win his 12th championship medal, and I would wish him well in the future, and maybe there's another one, the 13th, the baker's dozen on the way.
Footage of Ray McCarn's scintillating football in the 80s is still a delight to watch. Here we see him receive his award on being selected to the 1986 All-Star football team. This was another outstanding honour for our club. Finally, we invite you to revel once again in the memorable scenes on the Hogan stand in Croke Park when Eugene Sherry captained the Monaghan team which won the National League football final in 1985. Here we see Eugene being presented with the New Ireland Cup by GAA President Dr. Mick Loftus.
National League trophy to Gene Sherry, and look at those Monaghan players, they scarcely can believe their eyes.